Hey guys, welcome to Outlaw Blade Works. Trying to fix the back of my pickup bed today. There's a big old crease right there. I'm gonna kind of get you closer so you can see that. Sorry about the shaky camera work. You really see that crease right in here. It's pretty deep. It's about 3/8 inch deep, and I want to repaint the bed, so I'll try to get rid of some of this rust right here and then get this all beat out of there. But I figure while I'm here messing around, getting ready to fix some dents. The other day I did the video on the slapper hammer, and this is that Harbor Freight door skin tool that they have. And I figured I'd do a video on that and kind of show you how to pull a dent out with a slapper instead of your typical way. A guy would normally take a dolly, put it on the backside, and tap on it like this. Or come from the backside and tap this way so it's on dolly or off dolly, which is if you're off dolly, you're pushing right here and the dolly's over here. If it's on dolly, you're gonna hear this sound where you're hitting right on that dolly. But anyways, so how a slapper works is it spreads out in a wider pattern so that you could pull that dent out and get it as close as you can, and then I'll kind of show you how to do that. And it's gonna be kind of loud, and I'm sorry for that. I'm not real good at editing videos and whatever, and so it's just gonna have to be the way it is. So now that I've done that, you can really see that dent. You can see it goes from right here all the way up. And I'm gonna go ahead and start beating on this, and like I said, I'm sorry for the noise. It's gonna be a little loud. And on the back of this, I think the one that I'm gonna choose, so this dolly fits really nice. This is a Harbor Freight door skin dolly kit, and it also came with this one, and then that door skin hammer, and then the door skin slapper. But this slapper you can use on all kinds of stuff. So I'll go ahead and use this dolly, and the reason I'm using this dolly is it's got this nice crown to it, and you can see that this panel goes just like this. And to find a dent, you lay your hand flat, put your fingers together, and go like this, and you can really feel some dents in the panel. And really, this panel is in pretty nice condition. And like I said, I want to try to get it painted before I start getting the rust real bad, because this stuff's starting to flake off really bad. In Minnesota, they have the salt, so the salt gets behind the fenders and stuff and sits in the panels, and it just rots everything out. I mean, you can see all the rust up in here. But anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and start beating on this and see what I can do. And like I said, sorry about the noise. It's gonna be noisy. And when you're using a slapper hammer, you could go like this, but the best way is to kind of go off the dolly. So the dolly's on the back side, and I'm gonna be doing that. So this is an on dolly with a slapper hammer. And the reason I'm using this block is you can use this block because it's a nice flat surface, and using it on the compound, it'll really show what's coming out. And you can already see that this is already starting to come out. It's not as wide as it was this way, and it's starting to pull it out really nice. And what you want to do is use your slapper on the outside, your dolly on the inside, and then when you get it to where it feels pretty good, you sand it some more, wipe it off, and then you could really see the other spots. It'll show you the low spots, and you can start beating on it again and getting those low spots to come out. It'll actually raise them up, because you want to be pushing pretty hard on the back with this dolly, pushing against the panel, pushing outward this way, and then using this slapper to kind of come down hard on that panel against the dolly. And then that'll take that low spot, and it'll just raise it straight up like this, so that you'll have that nice clean effect when you're done. And then that way this panel will be like new. I don't like to use bondo or body filler or any of that crap. I like the metal work, metal finish everything. So I'll try to get some more done. and get it beat out and whatever, and then before I get it metal finished or whatever, I'll film a little bit more. So you can see now that by using that slapper, it's got this nice surface right here, and on the back side of this fender, you have that same crown that this dolly matches into. And like I said, you got to push that dolly hard against it, and then slap either straight like this or like this, coming down off that fender. And then you can get your panel smooth out, and then you hit it with some with the block again in a couple different directions. And you can see I have just a couple little dots right here, and those are high spots. And I don't feel nothing really on the back. So what I'm gonna do now that I got it really close, I'm gonna take this flat dolly and then this picking hammer. And what I did is I took an old Harbor Freight. This is the older Harbor Freight set of hammers. And kind of like Ruti Customs was talking about having a rat rod set of hammers. This is kind of the beater set of hammers that I have. But I just kind of rounded this off. And I always have to kind of dress it up a little bit because it gets all jacked up from beating on, you know, panels and whatever. But so I soften that point up so it's just nice and smooth. And then now I'm going to take and lay my dolly flat on the pad this way, and on the back, let's see if you can see me right here. So I got my arm behind the fender, and then I'm gonna lay my dolly on there flat like this and barely tap and try to get any of those high spots out by pulling the low spots up. And if you have to, you can take a block and do it on the inside the same way you did on the outside. And it doesn't take much, and it'll show you on the inside of the panel where the high spots are and where the low spots are. And right now I got pretty close. And like I said, you want to sand in one direction and then sand in another completely different direction. You don't want to always sand in the same direction. I see just a couple little tiny spots, but that's good enough where I can go ahead and dress this out with just a grinding wheel with a fine pad on it. And I'll go ahead and get that done. And then when I go to do the DA, I'll show you what I got going on. This is gonna be kind of loud using this die grinder. I'm sorry about that. But one of the things is, wear your safety glasses. Don't be a dumbass. You only have two eyes. You lose one of those and you know, you're gonna be in bad shape. You lose two eyes, then you're in real bad shape. So what I did is, this is a 36 grit, I believe it is. Yep, 36 grit Rolox discs made by 3M. And these are the small sanding discs. And then I use this to kind of surface everything and smooth it off. And then if there's any high spots or whatever, it kind of grinds, you know, your metal thickness will reduce a little bit, where if there's any high spots like that are left over after doing all this hammer and dolly work, it'll just kind of shave them off and smooth them a little bit. And then I'll go over that with a 180 grit dual orbital sander. This is a DA. And this will just sand them smooth, and then it'll be ready for primer. And I'll go ahead and hit it with this real quick and show you what I got going on. I know that's loud, I'm sorry about that. Now you want to jump to your DA, your dual orbital sander with 180 grit. One of the things too is when you're sanding like this, don't use the edge. You'll see me doing that sometimes, but most of the time if you want to lay that orbital sander, you want to lay it as flat as possible so that it's like a, sanding completely perfectly flat, almost like using a block sander. So it's almost like doing this. I'm gonna go ahead and take this off the tripod. That way you can see the work. You can see there's no dents in there now in that panel, and that's perfectly smooth. And now that panel's ready for primer. And that's what that separates the men from the boys right there. If anybody could pile that dent with bondo, and no offense if that's what you want to do, if that's what you're into or whatever. I like to metal finish my work, and that's what I just did there. And I hope you guys liked the little tutorial, or whatever you want to call it, a little how-to. But if you want to do some, dent repair or whatever, that's an awesome way to do it, where you can metal finish it. And then now all I got to do is put some primer surfacer on there, about 2 coats, and that'll be ready for paint. I have some other dents in this bed, and what I'm going to do is I got a new stud welder from Harbor Freight. I'll try to do a video on that. And they're really bad dents, and they're in spots where I can't get to with a dolly and hammer or a slapper. And then what I'll do is I'll do some videos on those maybe next couple days or whatever, if I mess around with my bed. But I'll show you how that stud welder pulls those dents out with a hammer, and I'll do some videos on that. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you like it, give me a thumbs up. If you don't like it and you give me a thumbs down, give me a reason why. Give me a comment below. If you have a rude comment or whatever, just keep it to yourself. I don't even want to hear about it. But I really appreciate you watching. Thanks for all the support, and take care.